Congratulations! You're about to be a dad. Your consent is optional. But don't worry, Fire Emblem taught me 3 essential things to remember if you want to be a good father. Number 1, give your child your unconditional love and support. And number 2, have the strength required to wield a Demon Great Axe enchanted +5 through usage of Titanite slabs. Yes, the Axe Dad. It's a trend in Fire Emblem that the series tends to make its best parents have a weapon and biceps to match the size of their heart. Bartray's overwhelming love for his daughter Fur, Hawkeye's more reserved but still strong love for Agren, Hannibal's love for his adopted son being stronger than any man's love for their birth child, Gilbert has some baggage. Okay, not every example is perfect, you don't get an axe and become a good dad, but you get the picture. Today's Axe Dad is Garcia, the retired military commander turned woodcutter turned back into military commander, all while he takes care of his beloved son Ross. So come on in as I gush about yet another Sacred Stones character. I honestly think I've done about 1/3 of the game's roster at this point in the series, and I won't stop until I've done them all.
There is no meme. This is just a threat.
Garcia's introduction is about as standard could get in any fantasy setting. His village is destroyed by, you guessed it, bandits. He and his son Ross are the only survivors, and the early scene is again by the numbers, with Garcia trying to make it so that Ross can escape by himself, and Ross refusing to abandon him. Simple, but effective at making him quickly likable. His backstory is revealed shortly thereafter. He was once a powerful military commander, who was always off doing cool knight shit with all of his free time. But in turn, this caused him to neglect his wife and son, and his wife ended up passing away of tragic death disease, and he came home to a gravestone and an infant son. Realizing what he lost, he dedicated his life to raising his son, giving up the fighting that he loved and dedicating himself to just being a dad. At least until, the bandits showed up. Now, this opening chapter sets a very good groundwork for the character. You already understand everything about who he's been and who he is. After some encouragement from his son, Garcia realizes that Ross can handle himself, and decides to fight for the good cause once again, with his son joining alongside him. He's already had his sad anime backstory moment, he has a great relationship with his son, and that's before he even starts his supports. He really kinda speedruns being characterized. But this is GBAFE. Garcia doesn't say a damn thing after he's recruited, so it's time to delve into his 5 supports. Seth, Nemi, Gilliam, Dozla, and Ross. Garcia's support with Seth is a very nice one. It shows a more melancholy side to both Seth and Garcia, as they lament the loss of their king, Fado. Seth blames himself for being powerless to protect Fado, hating that he could only protect Erica and himself the day that Renee fell. And Garcia blames himself because he left the army to raise Ross. He feels that he abandoned his country to live a carefree life. It's a moment of these two men, who don't seem like the brooding type, being open and vulnerable with each other. I think it's a very nice scene for both of them. And at the end of the support, despite everything that happened after he left, Garcia admits that he's happy that he dedicated his life to his son. To tell you the truth, I am not ashamed of the life I've lived. I'm not sorry that I abandoned my old life to raise my son. That decision made me who I am now. It's time I embraced both of these aspects of my past. I can only say this in hindsight, but it's not so bad to have a family. I like that Garcia comes to terms with the fact that he loved fighting. It's not just I looked back at my life and I hated everything I had ever done. Not that that kind of self-reflection is bad, it's been done plenty of times and it's been done well, but Garcia takes a different road, where he genuinely loved the life that he once lived. When you become a parent, your child becomes your number one priority. And knowing that Garcia put his life on hold for that makes him the kind of parent I wish JRPGs showed more. I mean, I know it's kind of hard to show the cost of parenthood when parents in JRPGs are mostly either dead or evil, so I like that Garcia shows that perspective. It's uncommon for the genre. I don't know, maybe I'm just starved for good dad representation in JRPGs, but I think Garcia is a very good example of what it means to live for your child, and I think that makes him stand out among FE's characters. His Nemi support follows a similar theme of bonding over loss, though this time they bond over loss of family, not loss of king. The first bit of the support is more about Nemi than Garcia, as it's a tale talking about her grandfather Zethla, who comes up every now and again in her supports. But the end of it has the two of them bonding over the loss of their family, with Nemi admitting she wants to stop and cry, but knows she has to keep moving on. She reassures Garcia's doubts about his life choices, saying that she can tell that Garcia is not a man to fight for fighting's sake. He knows the pain of war better than anyone else. I like that Garcia has these doubts about his life, and how he doesn't have one set source that helps him overcome them. Nemi and Seth both fulfill a little arc for him in their own ways. He doesn't just have the support chain that's about his wife, where she gets mentioned and then never again outside of it. It comes up in different ways, and I think that helps make Garcia feel more three-dimensional. His support with Gilliam starts completely non-serious. Garcia meets the famous Knight of Frelia and immediately wants to engage him in a test of strength. So they decide to arm wrestle. A little weird given that they're in the middle of a zombie-infested hellscape, but who am I to judge? Garcia wins the first match, but in a shocking plot twist, Garcia realizes that Gilliam is left-handed, so they wrestle again using Gilliam's dominant hand, and Gilliam is the winner. They decide that there's no way to truly judge who's stronger, and they become besties of equal muscle. It's literally that scene from FMA, with Armstrong and Sieg becoming BFFs over their flexing. I can see some people saying the C and B supports are just pointless fluff, but I think the idea of these grown-ass men arm wrestling like children during a battle to be hilarious, so I wanted to bring it up. The A support has a bit more substance to it, with Garcia and Gilliam talking about Ross, and Garcia being incredibly proud to have a good son like him. He asks Gilliam if he has any children, and when he says no, he encourages Gilliam to go out there and find himself a lady, telling him that having a family is a wonderful feeling. Gilliam says there is someone that he has his eye on, but Gilliam knows he's ignorant to the ways of women. Garcia encourages him though, saying it might be hard now during wartime, but once the peaceful world they're fighting to create happens, Gilliam can dedicate his time to wooing the lady of his dreams. It's a sweet bit of friendship between the two men. Similar to the Seth support, this one shows a side that you wouldn't expect from these characters. It's hard to imagine Gilliam of all people getting cold feet about anything, so it's nice to see him get shy about something. It's also really funny, because this is obviously referencing Serene, Gilliam's lone romantic support, but if you get the A support with Garcia, you can't get the A support with Serene, so Gilliam's just kinda stuck. It really is a Shakespearean tragedy. Almost as tragic as the fact that you aren't giving me your hard-earned money. That's right, I have a Patreon. If you want to go to patreon.com/FEMSPaint, link in the description, you can help support the channel and get access to benefits, like early access to panels, getting your name read aloud on videos, and for $7 a month, you can get access to polls to decide future episodes. Right now, it's a battle of redheads, and I don't know what I was expecting when I put Titania on that poll. I really should have seen this coming, but it looks like she's probably gonna win. My patrons include the likes of Adebayo Thompson, Andrew Crockett, Benzican, Dr. McBackstab, Fireman Lord, Great Riek, Hell on Heelys, Ichigo D. Camus, Jaeger Guts, Kenpachi Shira, Uzumaki Kirei, Mato, Kratos, Char Anzel, Frederick, Sirius, Balsara, Hakumen, The White Void, Despacito 2, Life 17 Volt, my god, these long-ass names. Marth, the Valiant War Criminal, Morga Lorgan, Nevrix the Tourmaline Project creator, Shen Lu, Percival Frederickstein, Von Musel, Klowski, Rollo III, but you can call me Percy, Steph D, Tato, the world's most unironic 8.5 tail stan, Walmart greeter, your girl Owen, Alexis Ovea, Brentendo 11, Drew Hack, Ginger, Gugu Gaga, Cornelia Milkers 92, and Upscale Furry Trash. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I need a drink of water. His Dozla support is another fun one. Dozla and Garcia remarked that these young whippersnappers these days aren't as well-rounded in their disciplines as they used to be. So the two men practice archery and magic, getting into tomfoolery throughout and becoming good friends in the process. It's a cute support that is completely different between Japanese and English. The Japanese support is about Dozla's relationship with Larchelle and how he sees her less like a princess and more like his spoiled daughter, and the two men bond over being parents. This was changed bizarrely because they also mentioned getting drunk together, and apparently alcohol is a no-no in this game that has Geb declaring his intent to sexually assault people and Volter's everything. So it is an interesting support to bring up, even if neither Japanese nor English necessarily have much for Garcia here. But it is a fun read for English speakers if you want to look it up. And lastly, his support with Ross is, get this, another good one. It kind of hits a bunch of different beats between the two of them and their relationship. The C support is Ross asking about his mother, and we get them sharing their grief while resolving to become strong enough to rebuild their destroyed home. It's a sweet scene. The B support is simple training, with Garcia expressing pride in how well Ross has been growing, and the A support is Garcia making sure Ross doesn't get too big ahead, letting him know he's not invincible. It's a good support chain, but it's one of those that doesn't leave much to talk about. It's just father and son bonding and being a good pair, which honestly is all you need for the two of them. The dramatic stuff with Ross and Garcia is in their intro chapter. The support just elaborates on the two of them and the stuff learned about them from there. Ross, I'm gonna be sentimental for a moment. Bear with me. You may be almost grown, but you're all I've got in this world. It's true that your skills have improved, but don't act foolishly. There's no greater tragedy than when a parent must bury his child. Do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah, I understand. It's just weird to hear you talking like this. I guess I have been getting a big head. No one is invincible. I was just all puffed up when you said I had improved. I'll be more careful from now on. I haven't told this to anyone, but I guess dads can see these things. No matter how old you get, you'll always be my son. Yeah, and I'll always look up to you. Garcia might not have a complicated relationship with his son or the world around him, but he's got a solid backstory that justifies his enjoyable to watch actions. His character is really good and shows sides of other characters that only he shows. He does a good job of being memorable on his own and a good job at helping the cast around him. I adore characters like him. Likely because I'm a daddy's boy, and I kinda gravitate towards good father characters more than most. But hey, it's my YouTube series and I get to have the incredible biases. And honestly, Garcia's a very solid dad to gravitate towards. Even if the fandom tends to remember Ross more as an axe user from Sacred Stones, personally, I take his dad every time. Thank you all for making it to the end of another character analysis video. As always, I greatly appreciate all of the support, and I hope that we can continue to get through more characters together. I would also like to thank my buddy Guy, the Green Brigand, for his help looking over the script. He actually didn't do it this time, lazy fucker, but I'm thanking him anyway. If you enjoyed what you saw here, please consider joining my Discord server. We like to have a lot of fun there, and you're looking at some stuff from it right now. The people there are friendly, the discussions there are enjoyable, and if you ever want to talk to me, I'm there fairly frequently. Normally posting about the Baltimore Orioles. And hey, when football season starts, I'll be posting a lot about the Ravens. I am a nerd of many cultures. Until next time.